The NBA has always been a league of stars, transcendent players who make the game their own. And as each generation carves out a place in history, new players step forward and add another chapter to the NBA's legacy.
You are watching what greatness is all about.
This is the greatest performance, maybe ever, in the history of this league.
Is he unbelievable?
And many feel he has greatness stamped all over him.
He will be a star in this league.
You can't stop him.
Unbelievable.
Hold on to the roof. The second time.
Can he be the best center ever? Can he become that?
Throughout the NBA's history, players from each generation have set a standard for greatness. In passing the torch to the next generation, they have lifted the game beyond the boundaries of our imaginations and challenged their successors to even greater glory. The game's history has shown that no stars have been more deserving of their place in the NBA's galaxy than the innovators.
We are indeed pleased to present the whirling dervish who defies gravity. From the University of Massachusetts, number 6, captain of the Philadelphia 76ers, Julius the Doctor Erving.
While the rest of the country had celebrated freedom of expression in the 60s, Julius Erving brought it to the NBA in the 70s as he rose to superstardom with unique charisma.
That was the scoop with something extra on it. Name an ice cream cone after that shot.
My freshman year of high school, I scored 2 points in one game on a baseline drive in which I went under the hoop and just came on the other side and did a little scoop shot. The coach, he just kind of lost it, you know. He hadn't seen anything like that in the varsity players, hadn't seen anything like that. And I kind of recognized that it was a little bit different. It was pretty much a routine move for me, but it was a creative move, and it was a matter of, moving away from the fundamental plane to doing something creative. And that sort of continued for me from that time on.
Watch this fantastic move by the Doctor.
He was just so athletic. I mean, I've heard stories how, he could, take off from the free throw line. He could jump from underneath the basket out of bounds. Just, long arms, big hands, great jumping ability, just everything you need to be a great athletic player.
Here he comes. Doctor looks for daylight. And Julius is unbelievable in a wide open situation. I have never seen anybody be able to do the things that he could do.
Not just an athlete, Julius was also an artist, and he built on the stylistic tradition of those who had gone before him.
There were a lot of comparisons with Connie Hawkins, and certainly Elgin Baylor, who I saw play many times on TV, and patterned a lot of my body movement after. So there were people before who I looked at and stole from, and then I guess there are a lot of people who stole some of my stuff.
Combining the best of the past with his own innovation, Julius brought new excitement to the game.
Look at the air. Look at the hang time. Look at the flying motion.
My first year in Philadelphia, the rookies on the team, Mike Dunleavy and Terry Furlow, anytime I got a breakaway shot, they would always say, poster. And what they referred to is anybody attempting to block it were going to end up being in a poster.
Here he comes. We rock the baby to sleep and slam dunk.
As fans flocked to see the Doctor operate, he took on a new role. Anointed the league's ambassador, he achieved startling popularity and became a living symbol of the game.
Dr. J, to me, was the NBA. It was like all of us would go to our little baskets in our room and be Dr. J. And we couldn't even do the stuff on a Nerf basketball hoop, let alone, on a 10-foot or 8-foot basket.
He was the ABA. He revitalized the NBA. His name is synonymous with basketball and class. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. J.
As Julius retired, it seemed as if no one could possibly fill his role. but his heir apparent would not be long in coming. Like Julius, Michael Jordan was an eager student of the game.
I guess I would have never had those visions if I hadn't have seen Dr. J in his time. Let's say with the taking off in the free throw. Right then, your creativity starts to move and turn, and you expand it to a certain level.
This is reminiscent of the ABA and Julius Erving many years ago.
He has a special gift.
Jordan drives again. Michael Jordan! How high can you get up?
And I think it was when they put the ball in his hands and said, all right, you just run the team. You bring it up, do what you want to do with it. That represented a real evolution in terms of the prototype player that I was and Elgin Baylor was and Connie Hawkins.
Whose game is it? It's Michael Jordan's game.
And that's exactly what it would become. Wagging his tongue as he twisted and turned in the air, Jordan staged another stylistic revolution and took the game to even greater heights.
Superman's back in the building! Superman is back in the building!
I seen good things that you can't even dream about doing.
A spectacular move by Michael Jordan.
Jordan trying to shake off Starks. Oh, what a move by Jordan!
He is just simply amazing!
Sometimes I would just stand there and just, I know he's going to do something crazy, so I just stand there and watch.
How does he do that? How does he do that?
It isn't something that you're just born with. I think somehow you have to work on creating that style or enhancing that artistic talent that you have.
Michael Jordan! Oh, vintage Michael!
Jordan had not only picked up where Julius had left off on the court, he also became an icon of the game.
I could see Michael's charisma, and he handled himself with humility and dignity, and I recognized that there was passing of the torch.
Taking over the status of the game's most visible player, Michael brought the NBA global attention. And just as Julius had attracted legions of fans, Michael now spread the league's popularity all over the world.
Where you from?
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Big fan of yours. Everyone's a big fan of yours.
They just have a warm feeling, I guess, about them, and that's what was so appealing. And as great as they were on the court, they seemed like they were even greater off the court.
Your name?
George Hirsch.
George, how you doing? Uncle George, nice to meet you.
You know you gotta turn this.
The spotlight began to shift next to Grant Hill.
You gotta turn it in every year. See, and you're gonna get in trouble. You're not gonna graduate if you don't turn it in.
My teacher loves you. He gonna write you in his book.
See, he's gonna tear this page out, huh?
I would love to be an ambassador to the game and sort of follow in their footsteps, and that's what you dream of. I mean, growing up, you saw how Doctor sort of represented the NBA and had such a positive effect on the NBA and the growth of it. And the same thing with Michael Jordan. And to think that I'd be sort of next in line, that's pretty good company.
And though his career is still young, many have deemed Grant to be ideally suited to be next in line.
Crossover on Bonner. Crosses back. And watches over Ewing. Wow!
I'd say Grant Hill is fun to watch. I don't care what.
Basically, most of my offense is stuff that I've watched Michael Jordan do, and then sort of try to go out there and incorporate into my game.
Grant Hill, sensational! Michael who?
Kid is a very talented guy. Skills are unbelievable. I mean, he's one of those versatile players who can pick up a ball game.
Grant Hill with the explosion! Baby, what a play by Grant Hill!
But while Grant has handled the comparisons with uncommon aplomb, the true test will come in the long run.
Grant Hill to the rim!
He's being mentioned a lot in the same vein as myself and Michael Jordan. It's a burden. It's a burden, but it has to be bestowed upon somebody. And I think he's the one who it was chosen to be bestowed upon.
Grant Hill comes through, reverses off the high glass, and he hit it. Little Dr. J for you there.
There may be some similarities just in the way we play, like the dunk and drive, but I still put them in a certain category, and I'm down here with everybody else.
For Hill, talking to some folks, they think this kid has a chance to be Michael Jordan.
danger to take for granted what myself and what Dr. J did. And that's the tough part about taking on something from someone else. You have to maintain that same level.
I'm not trying to be Michael or Dr. J. I just want to be Grant Hill, but I just think the reputation they have is tremendous, and everything about them is positive, both on and off the court. And that's something that, hopefully someday people can say the same thing about me.
The game's evolution brought a new type of player who combined size and creativity. They seemed capable of dominating all aspects of the game. These players were hailed as the Big Guards, and they owe their lineage to the Big O, Oscar Robertson. At 6'5", Oscar was perhaps the NBA's first true big guard. As tall as a forward, he played with the versatility of a little man.
What a pass by Oscar Robertson!
There were a lot of players when I started playing basketball who were just as big as I was, but I could handle the ball, dribble the ball, make the passes. At the end of the ball game, I wanted the ball because I felt that I was better able to get us a shot than anyone else, so I went inside a lot.
Oscar Robertson! He makes it 29 on the night for him.
He really set the stage for a real, what they call a real big guard, because not only was he a guard, but he was a strong and powerful guard. So nobody had seen that before. Somebody who could bag you in and just overpower you, and then also have the touch to go outside and shoot jump shots.
Oscar Robertson, the 10-foot on the way. Good! He's amazing!
The only player to average double figures in points, rebounds, and assists for an entire season, Oscar defied even the toughest defenses.
Hey, how about carrying the ball, man? Just one time, huh?
But for all his accomplishments, a championship eluded him. After 10 years with the Cincinnati Royals, however, he would get a final chance. Traded to the Milwaukee Bucks, he teamed with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to form one of the NBA's most dominant duos.
Oscar, back to Jabbar.
In their first season together, they brought the Bucks the 1971 title.
The Milwaukee Bucks are champions of the world! Milwaukee Bucks are the world champions!
Oscar retired in 1974, but 5 years later, his successor would arrive.
The Los Angeles Lakers select Earvin Magic Johnson, Michigan State.
A 6'9" point guard, Magic Johnson dominated the game just like his predecessor.
Beautiful pass. Is he unbelievable?
Fittingly teamed with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic led the Los Angeles Lakers to a championship in his rookie season.
Here comes the 20-year-old rookie down the middle. Dawkins went to him and scored and sent him to the line. There it is. It's over, and the most valuable player is Magic Johnson.
With his incredible array of skills and his charismatic personality, Magic attracted fans in legions. And as he dominated the game, he proudly carried the torch that Oscar had passed to him.
Magic playing the post, pivots around his man, underneath for him, left-handed.
Where he stopped, I took off from there, and I kind of brought that big guard back.
Backing in, he's down the middle, he's going to the hole, he'll shoot it back in.
I was big and strong, and I took advantage of that. And what I did was I wore my opponent down because of my size.
So many moves, so much power. Unstoppable.
Like Oscar, Magic was truly unstoppable in the clutch.
The game's on the line. Magic Johnson always seems to take over.
When you control 5 or 10 people for 48 minutes, and you know what's going to happen, to have that kind of strength is just unreal.
5 seconds left. Magic down the middle, just what I thought. A hook shot at 12. Good!
They say leaders are born leaders. And I guess Oscar was a born leader, and so was I.
He didn't even hesitate. He said, I'm in charge, it's winning time. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Magic's 18-footer, wins it. Has he ever done it before? You bet he has. Will he ever do it again? Time and time again.
Magic not only controlled the game as Oscar did, he also helped redefine it, ushering in a whole new style of offense.
The ball rolls free. Magic wants it. Magic's got it. Bounce on it. Rambert scores.
Orchestrating the Lakers' Showtime offense, he helped transform the fast break into an art form.
Still going, still going.
pushed the ball down the court. He did it as fine as I've ever seen anyone push the ball, and really put pressure on the defense. He created a situation where everyone had to run.
There was no rhyme or reason to the fast break. We just took off and running, and everybody was like, well, I gotta get me a lane, because we knew if you got out there and you filled the lane, Magic would get you the basketball.
3-on-2 to the middleman Magic, to the right side to Cook. Cook all the way, laying up and in.
I just don't think there'll ever be another 6'9" point guard that smiles while he humiliates you.
The Magic right side to Worthy, slams up.
You can't describe it. You can't make it up. I mean, it's pure artistry.
One of the NBA's most prolific winners and spectacular performers, Magic added his own unique imprint to the legacy of the big guard.
He was 6'9", and he was a point guard. Usually you're 6'9", you're power forward, small forward, and you're shooting jump shots. So he was pushing the ball, fancy passes, fancy dribbling and everything, so that's what made him different.
Unbelievable!
It was a lot of fun watching him.
Anthony Penny Hardaway obviously watched closely.
Hardaway with a spectacular maneuver. You talk about shades of Magic Johnson in the open court. What a sensational pass.
As Magic Johnson said, when I watch Penny Hardaway play, it's like looking in a mirror.
Everybody that I was around wanted me to play the point guard because of like the Showtime type of play that I wanted to play, pushing the ball, throwing it behind the back passes, no-look passes, the alley-oops and everything. So everybody wanted to keep the ball in my hands.
Oh my goodness, look at that pass.
For all this heady praise, Penny's kept it all in perspective.
I can do some things out there that try to, make people think of Magic, but there's only going to be one Magic Johnson.
But on the court, he's done nothing to discourage the comparison.
The Anthony Penny Hardaway show has begun. Unbelievable. That was amazing.
He has great vision, so he can see over the defense, where the little guard can't do that. That's what made Oscar great, made me what I was, and it's going to make him what Anthony Hardaway's going to be.
Oh, boy, tremendous court awareness.
And he jumps higher than both of us, probably put together.
Oh, bring the rim down, baby. Hardaway, have mercy.
Oscar and I play mainly on the floor. He'll be able to add that grace in the air as a big guard.
Hardaway with the jam in the face of Gatling. Hardaway liked that one.
I think with what they've added to the game as far as the flair and the Showtime, then I could just put another step on to it by going in there and dunking on guys. After I finish a pass or get a pass, I try to finish it with a lot of authority.
Here's Hardaway.
In his short tenure in the league, Penny's already added to the sensational history of the big guard. But like Oscar and Magic, he has his sights set on the NBA's ultimate goal, winning a championship.
Here's Hardaway racing the clock, and he has Magic leading by 2 with 7/10 of a second remaining.
Hopefully I'll leave an impression that, I really knew how to win. And won games for the Magic just like a Magic Johnson or Oscar. Even though they were great players, they were known for winning. And that's what I want to be known for.
Here's Mourning, the shot. Good! Game over!
Into Barrows, gets the shot away.
Butler gets it into Rex Chapman. Rex unloads. Holy mackerel!
Off comes into Tony. Look out, it's on line. Yeah! Bulls win! Bulls win it! Gotta be a catch or shoot. Here it is. Smith with the catch and the shot.
No matter what position they play, superstars become legends by coming through with a game on the line. These are the players who elevate a single moment into history. They are the clutch shooters. And any look into the legacy of these impact players must start with Mr. Clutch, Jerry West. From the first time he put on a Laker uniform, West showed that he wasn't afraid to take the crucial shot. In fact, he welcomed it.
It's almost like an arrogance that you don't think you can fail. And particularly when the game's on the line, it seems like it's easier.
2 seconds. 1 second. West throws it up. He makes it. West threw it up and makes it.
If you do it once, you like the feeling. And if you like the feeling, you want to do it again.
I think Jerry West is one of the all-time greats. There was no player that could stop him in the league. If you played a big player to try and take away the jump shot from him, he'd out-quick him and beat him on a drive. If you try to play a quick player on him so you could take away his drive, he'd shoot over the top of that player.
Jerry with 8 in the timer shoots a 20-foot force shot and makes it. Jerry West off of the wrong foot, I believe, Lynn.
Jerry West, in my opinion, was a fierce competitor. He was a clutch player. He was never afraid to take a key shot.
West stops for a 20-foot right-hander. It's good.
You know, a lot of times in my career, you know, we'd go over and have a timeout and be a close game or a tied game, and I didn't want to play to be run. Just give me the basketball, and let's see what happens. And I think that's the kind of attitude you have to have. You can't be afraid.
Jerry West scoring about whenever he wants to.
When the opportunity's there, just throw me the ball and let's see what I can do.
But his mental toughness didn't come easily. Through long hours of practice, he developed his shot and his confidence.
Obviously, where I grew up in a small town, there wasn't very much to do, so the time that I spent was shooting. And there's certain things that I felt that I needed to do to be a better shooter, and as my career went on, I became a better shooter.
It's a philosophy that was used by another small-town product, French Lick's Larry Bird, who was also a legendary clutch shooter.
If you're going to be good at anything, you got to practice, and I always feel that the only way you're going to get better is go out there and shoot and get your rhythm. But in the game situation, you got to get to where you can hit them shots under pressure, and that's where I think that you eliminate the men from the boys down at the end of the game.
Williams to Bird again. Up fakes. Fires another three-pointer. Oh! Ties it up! 113 to 113!
I'm the guy they should go to because I feel I'm the guy that's going to hit the shot.
The double team in Bird. Larry, fake, fall away.
Hits it! Unbelievable!
2 seconds left. The Bullets by 1. Ames to Bird. He gets a good shot into Sheldon's winner. Incredible.
Larry Bird never quits and never says die, and he always feels that he has a chance to win the game.
Suns by 2. They throw to Bird. Here comes Bird. Puts it up. Counts the bucket. We're tied at 104. And Bird will go to the line for his 51st point.
Bird routinely pulled off late-game heroics, and he sometimes even announced them.
I get a charge when I tell someone on the opposing team that I'm going to hit the last second shot and then do it. That's what it's all about.
Tie game. 13 seconds to play. Celtics basketball.
During the timeout, I'm going through a play, and about that time, Larry steps in and says, Coach, why don't you just give me the ball and tell everybody to get out of the way? That's Larry. If he wants the ball, he wants the ball. After the timeout, we walked back on the court, and then Xavier was guarding him. So he tells Xavier, says, I'm getting the ball.
And I said, I know, I'm going to be waiting. Yeah, he said, I'm going to get it right here. I'm going to shoot it right in your face.
10 seconds. 5, and Bird has the basketball. Look out. Larry Bird, just phenomenal the way that
he came out, went right about that exact spot and shot a shot right in my face. And, you know, he was like, I didn't mean to leave 2 seconds on the clock. He wanted to shoot it with 0 seconds on the clock. I walked back to the sideline like, damn.
Bird not only called his own shots, he also had an uncanny instinct for the perfect moment in the game to deliver them.
If you can hit a three-point shot that time, 99% of the time, you're going to win the game.
2-point Maverick lead.
Bird's the man they want to have it. Yes, indeed.
Bird for 3. Yes! Larry Bird for 3 with 4 seconds to go. Celtics lead it by 1. What can you say about Larry Bird?
I've done that a lot of times. Try to take the three-pointer when you can break somebody's back because the game's over there. Mentally, the team's gone.
Imagine the arrogance, though. The wonderful arrogance of a man who needs 2 to tie or 3 to win, has the time to do either one and says, let's roll the dice.
I fear no one but Larry Bird because if you keep it close and he has a chance to win it, he's going to win that game.
Bird's coming to the left.
the corner, double fake, jumper, it's good! Larry Bird hits it with 2 seconds left. Dennis gets it into Bird. Larry, a runner. Got it! Ball game's over. Boston wins.
Today, Reggie Miller has become one of the NBA's deadliest clutch shooters.
Reggie for three.
I resort kind of back to the old school of Larry Bird and Jerry West, of coming off picks and creating my own shots and shooting long bombs and form. You might make your first 10 shots and everything is going great, but when the game is on the line, those other 10 don't mean anything.
10 seconds. Jackson. Miller taking the shot.
And in 1994, in the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Knicks, Reggie put on a clutch shooting display that would have made Bird and West proud.
Swings away and hits. Reggie Miller is on fire.
Not only you, not only your teammates, not only the opponents, and not only the fans know that if the game is on the line, everyone knows where the ball is going to end up.
5 minutes into the fourth. Here's Miller again.
And there's nothing that no one else on the other team can do about it. And that's the mark of a great clutch player.
Look at this shot. And he hits it. It's a three-pointer for Reggie Miller.
And in the 1995 playoffs, Reggie would even outdo himself.
Miller for three, and he got it. Reggie Miller with a clutch tray, and it's 105-102. And a steal. Miller retreats to the three-point line and hits again. Tie game.
There's a lot of guys that probably have better strokes than I do, that shoot better than I do, but I try to just get as close to perfect as possible.
Reggie Miller scoring 8 points in the final 32 seconds.
Almost single-handedly dispatching the Knicks, Reggie cemented his place as one of the NBA's best big game performers.
How about this guy? Does he love the pressure? He makes all the big shots.
Being from the Los Angeles area and watching Jerry West perform for the Lakers, to even be mentioned in that breath, he was a great clutch time player, and that's what I've always tried to strive myself after, is being a clutch time player.
The NBA's clutch shooters have made their reputations by delivering when it counts the most. Their legacy is undeniable, but not unmatched by the truly dominating players of the game, the big men. They have earned a place in NBA lore by taking control of the game as no one else. As the NBA headed into the 1960s, two young big men would take the game to a new level, not only with their individual brilliance, but also with their compelling rivalry.
I remember our first encounter during the regular season. I remember I had a real good game, and I thought he had a real good game. We won the game, and I was spent emotionally.
It was the first time that I ever felt sometime that my control of the game was not at its highest point. It had to be because this guy was tremendous.
The Wilt Chamberlain-Bill Russell matchup would be one of the most celebrated in sports. Two gigantic stars with contrasting styles who battled for control of the NBA.
Not only was I bigger than most in height, not only did I have a reputation of being very, very strong, but I also was a scoring machine, and they were really in awe about that.
While Wilt was the league's most devastating scorer, Russell was its toughest defender.
The guy comes in, and you block the shot. And then you go down and you get an easy layup. And then you might look at him and smile and say, yes, we did that to you. These things make statements.
I think Russell was the foxiest, smartest, meanest player psychologically that ever played the game. Whatever it took to win, Russell would do.
Throughout the 1960s, the Chamberlain-Russell duels became like a weekly serial that captivated fans and kept them anxiously waiting for the next episode.
What Arnold Palmer did for golf, those two guys did for the NBA. Because every Sunday, it wasn't Philly and Boston, it was Russell against Chamberlain.
And viewers were never disappointed, pushing each other to find their best. These two titans inspired indelible performances and spectacular last-minute finishes.
Putting the ball on a play. He gets it out deep, and Havlicek steals it. Over the stand goes. Havlicek stole the ball. It's all over. It's all over.
Russell and his Celtics would win 11 titles in 13 years. And Chamberlain would lead 2 championship teams, including the 1967 Sixers, who many consider to be the best of all time.
My objectives in playing was to win as many games as I possibly could. And he made it very difficult for us to win games. He's probably the best player I played against. I mean, it's not even close.
Together, Russell and Chamberlain virtually wrote the NBA history books and established a measuring stick against which all future centers would be compared.
Beautiful play by Kareem Jabbar.
Offensively, defensively, totally dominating the game.
Standing 7'2" and playing with uncanny agility and grace, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was a worthy successor to the title of the league's dominant center.
He presented to me for the first time in my career of basketball a guy that I felt that I really needed some help to guard. All of a sudden, I just couldn't play this guy, all by myself.
And in addition to his athletic gifts, Jabbar possessed the most deadly single weapon in all of sports.
The name Skyhook was probably thought up by Eddie Doucette, who wanted to describe my shot to the fans that were listening on the radio in Milwaukee. I shot it while I was in the sky, so that's how he described it.
Turn around, Skyhook from 6. It's good! And Milwaukee now leads the ball game.
No one could handle Kareem then. Offensively, I think he was the best shot I've ever seen off the pivot.
Teaming with Oscar Robertson, he won a championship for the Milwaukee Bucks in only his second season. And later, he would win 5 more in Los Angeles.
Oh, what a play by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The Lakers are the world champions.
Kareem was just beautiful. When he just said, okay, that's it. My show tonight, I'm gonna affect the whole game. He just dominated with grace and style.
Kareem has been unbelievable in the last quarter.
You could not stop his shot, ever. I don't care what you did to him. He could get it off against double teams and he could make it. He was unique, just totally unique, and simply, I think, to this day, the greatest player that's ever played.
In his 20 seasons, Kareem would become the NBA's all-time leading scorer.
Right hand 12-footer, good! Also leading scorer in the history of professional basketball.
Carrying himself with an unassuming grace, he proved to be the perfect heir to Russell and Chamberlain.
I can look back on my career and say I gave it my best shot. I achieved more than I ever thought I could, and be very pleased with that.
And he left behind a new standard of excellence for his successors to strive for.
If you could take any big guy and let them watch him play the game and say, this is how you should play the game if you want to be a great center, I mean, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would be that guy.
But the center that would follow in Kareem's prodigious footsteps did not at first seem a likely candidate. Standing only 6'10" and having only begun to play the game at age 14, Hakeem Olajuwon nevertheless brought his own unique gifts to the position.
He does now. Olajuwon misses, but Olajuwon with the big offensive follow. He's a force. Chambers over Lloyd, blocked by Olajuwon, again by Olajuwon.
It was an awesome experience just watching some of the things that he can do on the court. You know, he's a combination of quickness and finesse combined with strength and power.
Hakeem was not only blessed with awesome athletic gifts, however, he also possessed an unsurpassed work ethic.
He was hungry. The first time he played against Jabbar and he faced the sky hook, that next morning he was there an hour before practice doing his own version of a hook. All those things Hakeem accumulated from various players.
He just had a yearning to get better and better. He practiced every day as if it was the last day, and he brought a different intensity level to the game that only a few great players can do.
Forging himself into a complete player, Hakeem now began to dominate the paint.
has a jump hook. He has his fadeaway. He has his quick spins. You're not going to stop him by yourself.
Hakeem would become a perennial all-star. He would be named Defensive Player of the Year and the Most Valuable Player. But after 10 long years, he had still not achieved the trophy that he coveted most.
There will always be a chance to win it all. I've been so close many times in college, in the pros, but just to get to go all the way for the first time. I live for that hope.
In 1994, he would finally get his chance, and fittingly, another top center would stand in his way.
Not since 1969, when Russell and Chamberlain concluded their epic struggles, has the matchup at center been so much at the heart of an NBA final.
Hakeem, however, was not to be denied, as he asserted his will at both ends of the floor.
Easily gets away. Front pocket three. Here's Starks. Rejected by Olajuwon.
Spinning, baseline, puts Olajuwon! Unbelievable!
It was like, guys, get on my shoulders, give me some help, and I'm take y'all to the promised land. And that's what he done.
And his 10-year wait only made the celebration that much more special.
And the Houston Rockets, led by Hakeem Olajuwon, are the world champions. Took them 10 years, but Hakeem finally has won the big one.
Hakeem would assure his place in history as he won another championship the very next year and proudly lived up to the great center tradition that he had become a part of. And appropriately, he did it against the player who was considered most likely to succeed to his throne. Shaquille O'Neal had entered the league in 1992 and immediately began a heated rivalry with fellow rookie Alonzo Mourning, recalling another great matchup and bringing the history of the center full circle.
Alonzo, a great block.
Shaquille's going to have to get back on transition. Oh, what a dunk. Hey, look at him look back at Mourning. Oh, he came flying out of nowhere.
I think I'm sort of like a Wilt Chamberlain, scorer, real strong, dominant, and I would consider Bill Russell to Alonzo Mourning, strong around the basket, defensive player.
Like Wilt versus Russell, this matchup features two dominant big men with strikingly different playing styles.
I'm 7'1", 303, and if I can get the dunk 10 out of 10 times, I'm going for the dunk 10 out of 10 times.
Shaquille O'Neal, and you get the idea he feels he can do whatever he wants.
When people score on me, I take it personally. You know, I don't look at it like, you know, oh, I couldn't have stopped that one. I always feel that, hey, you know, I could have stopped him from scoring.
We go the other way, 3-on-2. One of them's Mourning underneath. And Mourning blocks his sixth shot. A tremendous block.
Alonzo is a great player, but on the court, it's just like, I'm just, you know, trying to do one thing, and that's win. And he's trying to do the same thing.
And as they learned from history, the true measure of this rivalry will be championship success.
Russell won 11 NBA titles, man. I mean, he won more rings than fingers, you know. And that inspired me to want to go out and to, hey, you know, I want to be like that. So I'm going to work as hard as I can. I don't think I'm going to win 11 titles, but hopefully I'll squeeze one in.
I want to win a couple of championships like Chamberlain, and I'm going to get a couple one day.
Well, these two guys are going to battle for years to come. Boy, it's going to be fun to watch.
The game's superstars have handed the torch of greatness from generation to generation. And as the legends of each era take their final curtain call, their successors stand ready to take their place and add their own new chapters to the NBA's legacy.
Will anybody replace him? Well, some young guys will be trying. Unbelievable! He's not human!
The greatest outside shooting exhibition I've seen in years, maybe ever. Oh, what a show! Oh, what a show!
Will another chapter be added to the legend?